Good morning, we're going to be going a little bit of Amigurumi today, and we have my little kitty mermaid here. So Mer Kitty, or I'm not quite sure what to call her, but you can see she's there, very similar to the cat that I've done before, which I know quite a few of you have liked. So she is done in double knit yarn, so I've chose this particular variegated for the tail area, and I've gone for my glittery white for the top, but obviously you can do it whatever colour you want. I do have a little bit of thread for eye detail. I have some safety eyes. I popped a little bit of lace around the centre, a stitch marker, a 3.5mm crochet hook, my needles and my scissors. So I think I've actually got everything there, and I've even got pen and paper next to me. For once I think I've actually got everything. I say that every time and then I end up losing something. So we're going to move a few things out of the way because we don't need them, we don't need those, we don't need those, we don't need the eyes yet, but it won't be long. Stitch marker not needed, lace, but we do need the white yarn. So we'll pop little Mer Kitty there. And this is going to roll because I've actually made it into a ball. It's going to go all over the place. So slip knot start, onto the hook, not too tight. But I'm going to throw this into a basket I've got over there. Yes, did it, just. Right, we're going to make 2 chain. And into that first chain we're going to make, let me check my pattern, we're going to make 6 double crochets. Remember UK terms. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We can always tighten that bit up after, so don't worry if that goes loose. There you go, so it's nice and tight now. We're going to do 1 double crochet into each of those 6 double crochets, so make sure we do start at 1. We don't pick this bit up, count from the back if necessary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is actually there. Feels like it's further over than it should be, but always check. It's just 1 in each. Now it will close it up a little bit, so it's a little bit sort of fiddly, this first bit. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. You see it's closing up on itself, so it's a bit difficult. Make sure you are picking up both parts of the stitch. And 6. Now I'm going to just tighten that up again. I'm going to try and push that route. There we go. So that is the direction it should be. So that's the point of the ear. We're going to do a little increase, which will make the next bit a little bit easier. So there's going to be 2. Now again, be careful because you're going to be tempted to go in there and it's not, it's here. So we're going to do 2 in our first one as an increase, then just 1 in the next one, 2 in the number 3, 1 in number 4, 2 in number 5. If you notice, it's the the odd numbers that I'm actually increasing on, and just 1 more. So we've actually only increased 3, but it will make quite a difference. I've got to push it back out again because it doesn't have curl when you do that. Just tighten up my slip knot so you can see the ear a little bit better. 1 double crochet around, that's all you need, and then we're going to fasten off this ear. So there's 9 stitches now, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So I'm not going to do a slip stitch join like I do have a tendency to do. Slip stitch, yeah, last slip stitch, because I want to join the 2 ears together. So I'm not going to do that this time because otherwise it makes it difficult to join. So let's cut that off and just fasten it. Just pull it through and leave it to one side to make sure it's all nice and tight, and we have an ear. Now if you did my other kitty, it works on a similar basis. I think I've altered the numbers slightly. I didn't actually look at him before I did this, so I do know I have altered the numbers slightly, but you can do it the same as the other one and just add the tail on if you prefer that design. So we have 2 chain, we have 6 in 1 because it's second ear, so it's got to be the same, hasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And now this time we just did 1 in each. Now if you want to check where number 1 is, count from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is here. So just 1 in each. That's 1, 2, 4, 5 and number 6. So we'll tighten up the slip knot and we will try and turn it inside out. Well, not inside out, it's the right side out. For some reason it curls on the wrong side. Right, now we're going to do our increase. So it's going to be 2 in our first one. Nope, look, I didn't pick up both stitches, parts of the stitch then. It's important to pick up both parts. So we have 1, that's an increase. Number 2 is just 1 double crochet. Number 3 is an increase, so it's 2 crochets in 1. I think the yarn's catching. Number 4 is just a double crochet. Number 5 is 2 double crochets. And number 6 is just 1 double crochet. Now I'm not fastening off now, remember, because I've got to join onto that other one. So I need a double crochet round first. Would help. I missed that one, didn't I? So let's turn it the right way again. And we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of those 9. So we've got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now, as I said, no cutting off. We need this because we're going to join on to the other one. One thing I will do though, just because it gets in my way, is make sure that's really tight on that first ear and just cut that away, because otherwise it's going to get in your way and drive you mad. But do make sure that that is really secure first, because if you don't, that's going to develop a little hole. Now we're going to be joining the 2 together. As I say, if you've done my other kitty one, you'll know how to do this, but it's just a bit fiddly for the first, what, maybe 2 rounds. So this is the yarn I'm using. This is the extra ear. Now I'm going to pick it up. Doesn't matter where you pick it up, to be honest, but just pick it up, both pieces, yarn tight, and I'm going to do a double crochet. And that has started to join it together. I'm now going to work round that ear and then back round this one. Now something I did notice, you know, I've got 9 stitches. When I actually counted it, I ended up with 10 round each. I have absolutely no idea why that's the case, but basically make sure you go in every single stitch. Now that next one's a little bit difficult. I think that is where it goes up actually. So we've got 1 all the way around the ear, back to where you started. Make sure you're not increasing it. It's very easy to pick up an extra stitch. So that's round 1 ear. So now we've got to go across and into the next one. So I'm actually going to go in there just to make it a bit tighter, and then in there where the join is, that's where my extra stitches pick up. So round this ear, because this ear's not been round yet, so it's just 1 double crochet into each part, each stitch in that ear. I'm almost back to the beginning part. So that is 1 round, and it has joined Kitty's ears and it starts the top of her head. So I am round. Now if you want to place a stitch marker to remind you where start is on this point, you can do. I'm not going to worry too much because I know that yarn is there, so that is roughly where my start point is, because I'm not going to overly worry about counting. When I do the increases, I'm just going to tell you to do 1 each side, things like that. So I'm not going to count too much during this sort of making. So let's have a look. I've got to double check what I've written myself. It would help. DC round. Right, 1 more double crochet round. So from here, all the way around, all the way around, back to here. Off we go. As soon as you get past this part, the rest is easy. It's just joining the ears. Well, not joining the ears when I nearly dropped it. Round we go. I'm hoping this is filming bright enough. We've got a really grey day here, and I have got a light on, but it sometimes still gets affected by what the light is outside. And I say it's very miserable. Had a lot of rain this week. Right, so that's round 1 ear. Round the second one we are on now. and there we are. So we've gone around both ears, sort of 2 sets of double crochet, so you can see how it's coming together to make those little kitty ears, or depending on what you're making, they come out little legs. I always do that and I think, oh, what shall I make with little legs like that, and I never actually do it. Right, we are now going to do an increase. I'm just going to take the hook out, so I'm not going to count. I'm going to tell you to do an increase here and an increase here. So basically really on the edge here, so if you fold it you can see which that sort of last sort of point stitch is there, if that makes any sense. And you're going to do 2 in there and 2 in there. The rest are just double crochet, so I don't want you to worry about counting. We're just going to go around and just increase 1 stitch on the outer part of the ear, the furthest point. So off we go. So just a double crochet in everything, and I think I'm almost there. In fact, I'm going to go, look, that looks about right, so I'm going to do 2 in that one, and then I'm going to go off with just double crochets all the way around to the other outer ear. And this is just increasing his body a little bit. So we're almost there. It doesn't really make a difference if you're sort of slightly to one side or slightly to the other, but do try and get it so it is as on point as you can there. Right, so that's an increase. That was 2 stitches in one, and back to the beginning again. Right, so we're back. As I say, if you want to put a stitch marker in, you can. Like I say, I'm just so where I joined was there, so I'm going to use that. I mean, I have got a kiddie stitch marker there, but I've not actually used it, have I? Let's have a little look, double check my writing. I'll show you roughly. Just look how bad that is. They're my notes. It's always a nightmare till I rewrite it out. Right, we're going to do just a double crochet round now. Move that bit out of the way. Just a double crochet in every single one of those stitches. So say I'm not counting, I'm just working round until I get to that start point, or your stitch marker if you've decided to pop one in. It's a bit difficult sometimes to get a stitch marker in and not be in the way for this, but you could actually just thread a piece of yarn through to remind you where you are, because if you've got other distractions it's very easy to sort of forget that. Got another increase round after this one as well. There's not much increasing and decreasing, to be perfectly honest. As soon as you get to a certain point it's quite simple. Right, just double checking where I should be. See, that's what I say, it's not always that easy. Right, I'm going to have to pop a stitch marker in, because as much as I say it didn't matter, it is mattering because I've now lost my piece of yarn. So I'm going to pop it in. Right, let me check. I'm not round. I need, because it was that piece of yarn, wasn't it, that I was watching, and it is on that side, so I'm gonna go for it there. So if I were you, pop a stitch marker in before you get to that point, and it just shows you where your starting is. So I'm gonna go with that. I hope I haven't missed a stitch. So we've done a DC round, double crochet round. Now we're gonna have another increase round, and we're gonna do the same thing, just DC in every single one, and just an increase here and an increase there. So off we go. And now I've got my stitch marker in a very cute little kitty there, can you see it? Off we go. Almost at that side center. Yeah, that will do me. So 2 double crochets in there. And all the way around, 1 double crochet in the rest of them until you get to the other far side. So it does look dark on the camera, this, so I really do hope it's not. Otherwise I'll be doing it again. Right, I'm there, and I'm going to increase. So 2 double crochets into 1 stitch is the increase. And then just go around to the stitch marker, 1 double crochet in each. It's sort of getting easier to hold now. Not perfect, but it is a little bit easier. Oh, no, catch that up. And there we are. So I'm back to the beginning. So you can see we have the head starting to shape there. So we're now getting just 2 double crochet rounds. Now there's not much chance for you to sort of fast forward or stop and start because it keeps changing quite quickly on this. So it's just 2 rounds of double crochets if you want to pause me and just do your double crochet round. So off I go. So I can speed up a little bit. If you are new to this, I would recommend you sort of double check that you're happy with the stitch, and then if you're happy with the double crochet, you just work round all the way round to the start point again. Now because I'm using the glitter one, the filament's catching again. I'm a glutton for punishment, I think. I absolutely adore glittery yarns, but the filament, depending on what it's like, can catch a little bit. So this is just 1 double crochet into every single one, and this is round 1 of that. I know quite a few of you have made the cat, the previous kitty that I did, because I've seen pictures of it and you've tagged me in it, which is brill. And obviously I know I've had quite a few views on it, so I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this little kitty as well, because I wouldn't mind doing a little range of the kittens. Right, we are round. That was round 1. We have another round of just double crochets. Off we go. All the way around until we get to the marker again. We're going to be popping the eyes in a minute. Now, I have done larger eyes on this one than I have on my previous kitty. I mean, you can pop in whatever size safety eyes you want. You don't have to do safety eyes. You could put buttons on. You could do little felt round eyes. You could stitch eye detail on. Entirely up to you. Obviously, please be aware of, if you are giving it to a younger person, the age group is not really suitable for small children. They are safety eyes, but there's still always a risk. I always feel there's a risk anyway, so I wouldn't want a small child to have it. They are more collector's items, and to be honest, I think most adults, like myself as well, like to have little bits and bobs like this around. I mean, my granddaughter, I wouldn't think twice about giving her these sort of items. I mean, she's 5, but my grandson, I'd be like, I'll think about it, you know, go be careful. Or I might just stitch the eyes on if it was for him. So that is 2 rounds of double crochet. I can turn my piece of paper over now, so you're going to hear me rattling. There we go. And we're going to put in the eyes. That's what we're going to do next. So you can see roughly where the eyes are. It does look bigger like that because it's flat. When it's stuffed, it sort of pads out that way, so don't worry. Sort of that, yeah, that does look bigger, but it won't be. So these are my safety eyes. Be careful when you're buying safety eyes. Make sure you're buying good quality ones, because sometimes these backs are really rubbish and they will break. And this again, that's why we have to be aware of what age group we're giving these things to, because you never know. Right, where should we go? I think about there. As long as you don't put the backs on, you can always move it, because I think that might be a bit high now. Let's have a look. I don't know. I think that might be about right. I think I've done them slightly narrower than I have on the other one. Obviously, you've got to fit the mouth in. So if you're sort of just place it, if you're happy with that, we can then push the backs on. With these, oh, it is dome side up. I know some are different, so make sure. So we're going to click 1, 2 and 3. Mine usually do 3 clicks. I've got some new ones recently and they don't, but here we go. 1, 2, 3 clicks. If you click it too hard, it pushes into the yarn as well, and it makes sort of a bit of a nasty dent. So that sometimes is a bit of trial and error depending on what you're doing with the eyes, but I'm quite happy with that. I think she looks quite cute actually. So now we've popped the eyes in, we're going to carry on with our double crochet rounds. I'm going to tuck all these bits in because they are getting in the way. But I don't really want to cut them off, and there's no real point because they are white and they'll work as a bit of stuffing as well. So we'll push them in. Don't want to go in, go in, go in, go in. Right, we're now going to do 2 more rounds of just double crochet, and then we're going to be changing. Here we go. So we go 1, 2, 3, just double crochets all the way around until we get back to our marker. So I'm going to speed this bit up, you don't really need to see me do just a double crochet in every single stitch. Oh look, careful, always pick up both parts of the stitch, otherwise you'll get an odd pattern on your work. Off we go. There are patterns where you can do that, you pick up either the front or the back, but in this particular case we need to make sure, you see there's 2 pieces, we need to make sure we pick up both. You can see it better there, can't you? So there's 2 pieces. How are we doing for time? Oh, 20 minutes. I'm not quite sure how long this one will take. I think it is going to be over an hour. Hopefully the video won't be. I think I'll get it in under an hour. But if you were sort of obviously having to watch it start and sort of see what I'm doing, it may take more. And obviously you've got your sewing in bits and things. So that was round one. I'm back to my stitch marker. Good job I put that stitch marker in now, isn't it? Right, another round. I will try and get a pattern made out for this one because, like I say, I keep saying to you, just one at each side. It's quite a hard pattern to write, but it's very similar to my other one, so I'll have a look. So as you can see, it's just in a rough handwriting at the moment, and I will try and pop it on one of my penny patterns on the website. I do have some more patterns to pop on this week as well, so if you like your amigurumi, there will be a few more patterns on there that have not been seen on YouTube, and there will be some that are the penny patterns from my YouTube tutorials. I hope that rain stops. I've got to go out in a while. It seems to do that though. It goes mad and then it just completely stops. Right, so here we are. So that was 2 rounds, yeah. So if we look, so we are at that waist level now. So it is time to change our colour. Now I have shortened this one very slightly from the original one because I felt her body was a little bit long. I don't know, you may disagree. If you want to make the body a little bit longer, add a couple more stitches in, but I just decided I wanted to shorten it a bit. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm bringing this variegated yarn. I thought variegated just works nice because obviously it's sort of imitating the scales on her. But here we go. So yarn in place. I'm just going to go in old school. Oh, I'm not going to go in anywhere, am I? I'm just going to pick it up like this. You can join whichever way you prefer to join your yarn. And we're going to do 4 rounds now in this nice new colour. So pull it tight. Don't get it dangled like I am. And off we go. Now, because it is amigurumi, it's spiral, so you will get a slight dint where you've changed your colour. Now, I don't know, some people seem to manage to get it really neat. It's never something I've been that marvellous at doing. So if you've got your own method of joining your yarns, please do it. With this particular design, because we have that little bit of lace, well, you don't have to put the lace on, but if there's a little bit of lace there, it does actually hide it. I mean, it's not a big dent or anything. It's just slightly there where you're changing the colour. Well, this bowl's not going to run. The other one was running really nicely in that pot. I might have to think about that again next time. So I'm almost round. I can hear the dog banging at the door. Right, so we're round. That's round 1. So you can see, I think the colour contrast is really nice on that. So that was 1 round. We have 4 of these. I'm going to mark them down. I'm going to behave. 1. I've marked it down. And I'm going to go off again. In a second, I'm going to tie those 2 up as well to make sure they're nice and tight where I joined. Off we go. I think I'm going to call her Mer Kitty. Well, that sounds like murky, doesn't it? I don't know. She's not got a name. I've got to think of some sort of name. It might just have to be Mermaid Kitten for when I do the thumbnail for the tutorial. Because obviously people want to sort of pick up the terms mermaid or cat or whatever they do on YouTube. So I do need to think of a name of some sort for her. Right, we're nearly round 2. Right, and I'm just going to stop a second because I want to tie those 2 ends where I joined it. So I want them nice and tight because you don't want any joins coming undone. Because it's inside as well, you can get away with a couple of knots, make sure it's really secure. Now, something I nearly did with this one is I allowed this bit to go up inside here. And when I stuffed it, it showed, so I was having to like pull it out sort of from the outside, which was a bit difficult. So I'm going to keep the coloured one out and I'm going to allow that to go into the tail part rather than the body part. It's easy done. Like I say, I did it and I'd not realised, and then I could see like a line of this yarn running along, and you don't want that. So we have 2 rounds. We are now on round 3. I will mark number 2 off first. Round 3. You can see it's quite simple now. This is quite a nice yarn to use actually. It is quite a cheap yarn. It's not sort of one of the posher end ones, but it's quite nice to use. I think it's very pretty and colouring. Made a couple of Cindy hats in this one with pom-poms on, so they look quite cute. Round 3 nearly done. Yeah, I think a body does work better shorter. I don't know. Like I say, you can make a long mermaid, you can make a short mermaid. You just increase on these just double crochet rounds if you're wanting to do that. You know, I said I got everything. I haven't. I've not brought my stuffing over. Oh, never mind. I will get it in a second because it needs stuffing, doesn't it? Of course. Right, well, that's round 3. Let's go for our final round 4 on this section. And then I will have to, well, I'll do a couple more rounds and then I'll go and get the stuffing. So we're nearly there. We're going to start doing a bit of increasing, I was going to say. We're going to start doing a little bit of decreasing in a minute, because obviously we need to shape down for this tail. Now this is done all in one, including the tail at the end, so you don't have to stitch these on. It is complete all in one. It's a little bit of sort of, well, not fiddling, but there is a little bit of fiddling perhaps at the end, but it's easier than stitching on. Nobody likes stitching up. I don't mind too much, you know, but I will avoid it and avoid it and avoid it. And when I do it, I sort of quite enjoy it because it sort of feels nice when the thing's complete. But I do avoid doing it, and I think a lot of people are the same. Right, so we're going to say that is our 4 rounds that we did there. So now we have a little bit of decreasing. Yarn's rolling around like mad here. Move over there, yarn. So we're going to decrease, you know, like we did with the ears. We're just going to look at each point at the sides again. So I'm not going to count, but you know, when you get to that edge point there, that is where you need to do your decrease. So we're going to go DC, DC, DC until we get to that side edge, and it's just going to be 1 decrease, so it'll just be 2 double crochets together. So if you're not sure what they are, I will show you when we get there. So it's just double crochet until we get to the side of our kitty, which I think is about there, as you can see, and I'm going to do together. So we go in, we don't finish the stitch, we leave those 2 on, we go into the next one, we end up with 3, we pull through all 3, and off we go with just 1 double crochet until we get to the other side. Nearly there. Like I say, excuse me if I'm going a little bit fast here, but you don't really need to see what I'm doing for that. And you can slow me down, don't forget, in the settings. It's just my voice sounds a little bit weird, that's all. So I'm at the side again, 2 together, so you pull it through, you pull the next one through with it, and you pull all 3 together there. And back to our stitch marker. That's getting in the way a bit now, but I really don't want it to go into the head because, as I say, last time it showed. And we're round. So that was our first decrease round there. I'm just going to mark it off to make sure I do the right one. And we're going to have a double crochet round, which is an easy one, just 1 double crochet in every single stitch till we get back to our marker. If you want to move the marker, you can. I don't really think it's overly necessary. The marker for me is just saying that is the side I started at. But you know it's in between the 2 ears, so I think it's relatively clear where you're going to be stopping and starting. can hear the school from here. Our schools have partially gone back. There are some children back at school. So I can hear them because I'm on the main road here. I can hear them playing outside. So that means the rain must have stopped because they don't usually let them out if it's raining. So that was our round, just a double crochet round there. So now we need another decrease round because obviously this tail is coming down, not to a point, but it's coming down quite a way. So same as before, just double crochet in every one and then just decrease and decrease at each side, with one decrease at each side. There we go. I'm going to go for that one. And then I'm just going to double crochet around to the other side. I can feel it already starting to pull in shape-wise. A little bit behind on videos this week, I'm afraid. My husband's off work this week, so we've actually been getting a little bit of DIY done. Got my bathroom decorated. So that's nice. So decrease time, 2 together. So no, all 3 too. And back to our stitch marker. So we've been doing a bit of running around and things to get that done. Right, back to the beginning there. So that was another decrease round, which I'm going to mark off that I've done it. And now I have just a double crochet round. And you probably see the pattern forming there. So just one double crochet into every single one until we get back to its centre back. I suppose the eyes now are telling us where we started as well, because obviously that's the front and my start point's at my back. So perhaps I don't even need the stitch marker, to be honest. Come on, little kitty. It's looking okay. I think I actually like it with the shorter body. Not that it's finished yet, but I don't know. There was something sort of was bugging me about this. I just felt it just needed to be a little bit squatter, make him a little chunky cat. Right, so that was just a double crochet round. I will mark it off, and I have yet another decrease round, exactly the same as before. Decrease in each stitch, but decrease here. Decrease in each stitch, I just said, didn't I? Double crochet in each stitch, decrease here, decrease there. I'm going to have to go and get that stuff in, aren't I, in a minute. So here I'm going to do my decrease, so 2 together, pull through all 3. Round to the other side, and exactly the same again, just 1 double crochet till we get to that side position. I think you're really starting to see how it's pulling in now. Two together. And just DC. I keep saying decrease, don't I? Oh, double crochet to back to your stitch marker. Or centre back, depending on what you're doing. Right, so we are there. Now, I will mark that one off as well because we have another... Oh, we're nearly there, Just a double crochet round now. And then I think I'm going to have to get that stuff in. All the way around. Careful not to catch that. Just 1 double crochet into every single one until we get back to first position. Oh, I can hear the cat tinkling now as well. That's why she has a bell with a collar, because you never know what she's up to, especially when she was a kitten. So she's always had a bell, so I know where she is because she's really quiet. She doesn't really meow that much or anything. Right, so we are there. That was just 1 double crochet, and you can see how it's coming in nicely here. Now we do have a little bit more of a decrease round, but I really do think so. You're going to have to excuse me 2 seconds. I can see where the stuffing is. I'm just popping my microphone down so you will hear me shuffling around. And I have the stuffing. Ta-da, stuffing. I don't know why there's a hole in the middle of it. I don't know what I was doing. I must have been desperate to get the stuffing out or something for some reason. But yes, there's a hole in the middle, not in the top. So off we go, off we go, off we go. Now I just did a double crochet round, didn't I? So we need one more where we're going to decrease. Now this is decrease 2 togethers all the way around, so it's going to bring it quite close. So that is why I think we ought to do some stuffing now. Now the thing to watch for is getting this stuffing in these ears. So let's have a little go. Let's have a look. I'll just pull a load of stuffing out. Do it with small pieces, because if you try pushing a big piece in, it's not going to go into the small areas. So we're going to push it into her ear, his ear, I don't know. Could be either. And into the other side. So the ears are sort of stuffed first before you try and stuff anything else. So I know they're quite comfortably padded now, and let's get some stuffing in that body. Obviously you can make it a little bit chunkier or chunkier, whatever you want to say, or you can sort of leave it quite soft. I like mine sort of quite chunky. That's why I wanted her a bit shorter. I keep saying her. I'm just going to say it's her. Yeah, so you've got a little fat body there. And just one more piece, I think, because we're not closing up, but it's easier to get some of the stuffing in before. Yeah, so you can see the shape. Back to that decreasing round then. We are literally 2 double crochets together all the way around, so it's going to bring it in quite a lot. So just to the stitch marker, so off we go. So remember 2 together, you pull it through. Go into the next one, pull it through. We have 3 stitches on the hook, we pull it through all 3. I repeat that again. So part, pull it through all 3. Like I say, just pull it in quite a bit, but we are going to have to put a little bit more stuffing in when we get to the end. So I'm not counting them, I'm just doing literally 2 double crochets together until I get back to that mark point. It's a little bit harder to hold when it's like this as well. That's it. So you can see it has brought it in quite considerably there. I'm going to get rid of the stitch marker because it's really not required at the moment. I don't know whether I'm going to need it for the tail. I'll see how I go. So I'm just going to put a little bit more stuffing in, because there isn't going to be any more stuffing. This is the last part that I'm stuffing. So I think she needs a bit more again to go through some stuffing. It's a nice stuff in this one. It's quite soft. You get some and they're a little bit hard. And I think, well, I know I'm saying they're collectible items, but it's still nice for them to be soft. And if you're doing them without these and a small child is having them, they want them squishy, don't they? Right. I think I can get a bit more in there. Let's see, roughly the same. Yeah. It's weird, I think she's actually, do you think she's come out bigger, or is it just an illusion? It might be an illusion. Or I've just stuffed it more. I think I've stuffed it more, look. I think she's a little bit chunkier than the other one, but that doesn't matter. Right, we are now going to be working on building up for this tail. Now, we've just done 2 together all the way around. We are now going to do 2 stitches in one and 1 stitch in the next one. So we're now increasing. So we're just decreasing, now we're going to increase. So 2 stitches in this one, 1 stitch in the next one, and you're going to repeat that round. So we have a 2, we have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 1, a 2, a 1, so it's a little bit tricky to hold, a 2, a 1, I think I've got 2 more stitches there, so I'll have 2 in this one, and a 1. So again, you can always see you roughly centre back, so just follow that line down. So that was a 2 in one stitch, a 1 in the next one, all the way round. Just double checking my writing here, that's right. Right, we're going to do 2 rounds of just double crochet. Okay, so off we go. So just 1 double crochet in every single one of those stitches until we get back to the back. That one's a tricky one. There we go. you'll start to see that it's flaring out a little bit in a second. You could do separate fins. I just thought it was nice to do it literally as an all-in-one. So a lot of people don't like sewing up. Sometimes sewing up can actually spoil your work as well. Some people are great crocheters and it comes to sewing up and it somehow doesn't work. Right, so that's one round. Another round of just double crochets. Only got a couple more rounds to go. Got another increase round after this one. I think I'm going to do 2 videos today, not 2 crochet ones. I have got a Smart Doll like scarf, cowl sort of thing done, but I don't think I'm going to get it done this week. I think that's going to have to be Monday. I think I'll do that. But I've got a little dolly thing that I got from eBay that I will be doing, I think, next. So there we are, we're round. So we're getting that little tube, which is going to next flare out to our actual fins. So you're going to do 2 double crochets into every single one. So 2 in each one. And it will really start to flare now. So you need it to flare because we're going to actually sew it. Well, I'm saying sew, it's not really a sew, but you're going to pull it up together. I've only done 1 there, haven't I? That's it. So just 2 double crochets into every single one of those stitches to really push that shape out. Then we're going to avoid as much sewing as possible with this. I actually even crochet the bottom of it together. Gone on to 1 again. That's because I'm not concentrating. 2 in each, otherwise I won't get the little fins. There we go. So 2 in each, not 1 in each. See, it's so easy to get distracted. I mean, I'm a nightmare. It doesn't take anything to distract me at all, no matter what I'm doing. Oh, dog's grumbling at somebody. We've got neighbours moving out, so they're making noises as well. And it's usually the post if she does that, though. For whatever reason, she does not like the post person, like most dogs don't seem to. I mean, she won't hurt anybody, but it's just when they rattle at the thing. Can you see? Well, oh, yay, we've got a little flare coming there. So we've got 1 more double crochet round, and then a round that's a little bit weird, but it's just a double crochet now. And then we're going to look. So you can actually make this longer as well if you want to. Entirely up to you. We're not doing too bad for time, actually. We're on 43 minutes. So, you know, taking allowance for me stopping and starting, taking allowance for me talking and things like that. It's not actually that long. I thought it was going to take longer. We'll have a look at this in a second, so I can show you where it's aiming for. And when I get back to the back, I will stop just for a second. It was harder to get in the stitches when you've done 2 in each one because they're tighter together. Make sure you do get both of those 2 though that you've increased, otherwise you'll lose your increase. I'll try and get some photos of her. I was hoping to do it outside. I mean, indoor photos are okay. I've taken one of all the stuff laid out, but they're not as nice as when you can get some nice daylight. Right, so I'm back to the back, so to speak. I'm going to put it down to show you where we are. So you can see how it is sort of thinning out. Thinning. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to thread that up to make those stick out. So that's why I say you can either make it longer or shorter. This does need to be longer because I want it the same as that one. I'm just checking my But I have a tendency not to finish writing patterns up because I get to a point where I go, that'll do, which I've done again. So we're going to go for another double crochet round is what we're going to do. I'm winging it now because I've not written it down. I'm pretty sure I know what I did though. I do love crochet for that though. It's very flexible. You can, if you're necessary, make it up, make your own designs up, decrease, increase wherever you want. You know, it's just one stitch. If it goes wrong, it's easy to unpick. I'm sure knitters will argue, because obviously if you're an exceptional knitter, you will find it easy to manipulate your work, but I do think crochet is a little bit more malleable in that respect. You can sort of change your designs, you can mess about with it a little bit more, especially for a beginner, shall we say. Obviously if you're an experienced knitter you can do it, but if you're a beginner knitter, sometimes, I know myself, I can knit, and I can knit quite well. I haven't knitted for years, but I would still get frustrated if I dropped a stitch or something. Oh, it's messing about. With crochet you don't really do that, do you? If you drop a stitch, it's a stitch. One stitch, it doesn't matter. You can undo half a dozen stitches and it's not really going to affect things. So let's have a look. So that is two. What am I on about? Two. One. Right. I think we need another one. This ball definitely doesn't want to stay in place, does it? Off we go. Another one double crochet into each of those stitches to get us a nice flare there. I think this should be our last one. We will have a look at it though before we decide. At least doing it this way, when I write the pattern, I will know that we need more. In fact, I ought to write that down. In fact, I will write that down now. We've done an extra 2, haven't we? So +2 I have written. I don't know why I didn't finish the pattern. Like I say, I do that sometimes. I'm working on something and then it's like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. I don't write it down. I should always write it down. Almost at the back. And then we're going to do something which might feel a bit weird, but we're going to just sort of double crochet to the side, because we're going to actually crochet this together. Do need to check on stuffing as well. So I'm going to say I'm stopping there, but I will double crochet down to there in a second. I'm just looking if I'm happy with the amount of stuffing. I'm going to pop a little bit more in. We're not stuffing this bit, we don't need to, because it'll pull tight on its own. Right, so now I'm just going to double crochet to there, and that's it, just to the side. My daughter keeps trying to phone me, she'll know what I'm doing. I always pre-warn her that if I'm filming I'll not answer her. Yep, I would say I'm at the side there. So now I'm going to turn it over and we are going to crochet along here. But I'm only going to pick up the inner stitch, yeah? The inner bit. You can see there's the 1, 2. I'm only picking up this inner one on this one and the inner one of that one. So hook back in place. First one feels a bit weird, so I'm picking up the inner to the inner on the other side. You know where you're going to see it because that yarn's going to get in the way. And then I'm just going to do a double crochet. So inner, that's better to see, and inner, well I hope it is anyway, I can see it better. So inner and inner. You can just crochet the whole thing, you know, the full stitch if you want. You don't have to pick up the inner. I just thought it made it a little bit sort of a better shape to sort of finish off with. A little tricky to get hold of when you're doing it that way. So just take your time, there's no rush, is there? Okay, see how it's flattening out there, so it works quite nicely, this. Nearly picked up 2, there we go. We're almost there, we're halfway. Now don't be eager to fasten this off when you do this. I want quite a long end so as I can gather the tail up. There are 2 options really. To be honest, it looks quite nice flat like this. This doesn't want to pick up, there we go. But I have gathered it so it sort of gives it a bit more shape. Nearly there. And I think I need to do just 1 more stitch at the end, which is almost impossible to see, but it's there. And there we go. So I'm going to make this quite a long end. I'm going to move the yarn so it's out of the way. We need a needle ready. Oh, I've not got one. Oh, I have got one of the fine ones. It's there. Right, so we can fasten that off actually. It's a lot of yarn to pull through, but we can just fasten it. So it's not going to go anywhere now. We know that's not going anywhere. A lot to pull through there. So 2 choices. I think it actually looks quite cute left like that. So it's like a little fish's tail. Or we're going to gather up this side. So I'm going to put that down. Now I can hear the housebound going, so perhaps she does want to get hold of me. I think she'd have sent me a messenger message if that was the case. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it to the middle. I just want to make sure it's not showing. I need to run it all the way through the inside to the middle. Pull it through. Make sure it's nice and flat again. And we're going to be running it up here. Now, when I did this, I found out if I ran it up the front, it pulled the fins that way. So that might be a lucky one. But if I run it up the back, it pulls it up that way. And I prefer that. So I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just going to do a little running stitch all the way up. One more, I think. There's a lot to pull through here, but it is worth it. And then if I just carefully pull, don't pull that corner. You need to only pull the centre bit. And it's pulling the corner again, isn't it? Right, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I've done actually. You know, when I run it along there, I should have attached it here first, and that is why it's pulling. So I'm going to do that now. As much as that's going to be a bit of a pain, I'm going to do a little knot here. Should have done it at that end. Nobody will know. Right, now it shouldn't run. But the only thing is I'm going to have to go back down where I started. It's just a running stitch. And back to the beginning. Now, if I'd have thought about it and done the knot in the first place, that wouldn't have happened. But we can still pull it up. So we pull and we get our shape. Now, again, front or back, depends whether you want that or if you want that. So what I'm going to do now, looks a big strand, I know. I'm going to go in there. So it's a massive stitch. Bend it slightly because that's the direction I want the fold, and pull it in. Yeah, can you see what I've done there? So it's come out that end. I'm going to wrap it over, pull it tight and push it back in, back to the front. Now you do need to pull this quite tight, but be careful with your yarn, because if you've got a yarn that has a tendency to split, you will have a problem with it. Yeah, can you see how the shape is coming there? So she has her little fins there. Now I'm going to just fasten it off here. Now I'm going to do a knot. Tight to get in there. A little bit of fiddling that was, wasn't it? If I'd done it right in the first place, it wouldn't have been an issue. And then, as per, I'm going to thread it through the body. Through the body. And just because I like to do it extra, I'll go through again. If you go through the stuffing, it holds it better, that's on. And we're going to just little snip, and we are done. So, that is the Mer Kitty without her arms, but there she is. I think she has come out a little bit chunkier. I don't know why. I think I've just stuffed her. I've just stuffed her a lot more, haven't I? So we need some arms, missus. So we need, excuse me a second, I'll reach across. I need my white back, don't I? Now the arms are simple enough. Couldn't be any simpler. And they're very quick as well. All we're going to do, slip knot, 2 chain, 6 double crochet into that first chain as always. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 1 double crochet in each of those 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Tighten that up, push it out just to make it easier to do the next round, because the next round is just going to be 1 double crochet in each as well. So 1 double crochet in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Let's have a little look at the length. I think we need 1 more, don't we? 1 double crochet in each. When it's only going into the 6 like this, they are a little fiddly to get into, but persevere, take your time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's it. My last one's going to be a slip stitch because I'm not adding anything to it. And pull the yarn through. Now if you want to put a little bit of stuffing in, I didn't in this particular one, but you can do. I'm just going to stuff that actually in there and then stitch on the little arm wherever you required. Obviously we need another arm, so we can do that, but I'm not going to do that now because you don't need to watch me do that. Now as far as the stitching is concerned, I've just used a crochet cotton. You can use an embroidery thread, you can use a wool, whichever suits you. Let's choose a needle here. I'll use the needle that was on my wool because that's about the best one I've got there. Well, if I get the wool off, there you go. So just a little quick review on the mouth, but again most of my mouths work out the same. I have a little knot in the end somewhere. Ta-da! I'm going to push it in from the back and I'm just going to find centre point. Make sure it's not going to come out. It can do, so be careful with that. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to go up. And I'm going to go across and I'm going to go in the centre and across. Watch where you stitch, where the actual yarn, but if you go through the bump it'll hold it better. If you go through one of the holes it'll just pull through. Ta-da! And I'm going to take that up there. I'll just do one side to show you. Again, can you see I'm trying to go through the actual bump of the stitch, not the whole of the stitch. Yep. So there we go for that. Let's string it out a bit. And here, all I did was I did a line across and a line up. I would normally jump to the other side, but I'm not going to, just for demonstration purposes. So you can see you get this sort of cute sort of little whisker on the side as well. So as you can see, when she's finished, she's going to look absolutely adorable. I'm going to put her a little belt on, which I think just finishes it off. I think it looks nice with that little bit of extra there, and obviously a little arms. And you have your little Mer Kitty. So I hope you enjoyed doing that. I will try and get the pattern out, although like I say, it's a bit of a weird one because I'm not actually counting at times. I'm just telling you to decrease or increase at the sides. But I think I did that with the other ones, so I'll double check what I did with the pattern and resort it. So I hope you enjoyed making little Mer Kitty. Please let me see any pictures if you do it, and hope to see you very soon. Please like, subscribe and share if you did enjoy, and I'll be back, like I say, with a dolly tutorial next. Well, not tutorial, dolly review next, and on Monday I will be doing my Smart Doll little cowl neck scarf. So bye from the kiddies, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.